This video is about the brief history of hentai, but I will be using the word gentile in order to avoid troubles from YouTube Sama. Most people think gentile just popped out of anime fandom like a meme recently in early 2000s, or as a result of gooners' weebs fantasies. But its history actually goes really back far, deep into Japanese culture centuries ago. That means maybe one of your ancestor was also gooning to early versions of gentile. In this video, we will be learning how even some of the most weirdest and wildest entertainment cultural phenomenons often have a fascinating history behind them that explains how this stuff came to be. Before anime, Japan had a long history of erotic art called shunga, woodblock prints from the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, that weren't taboo, they were art. One famous example, The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, has tentacles and sensual themes centuries before tentacle hentai existed. So yes, the idea of wild imagination in adult art goes way back. Rise of early adult animation. Even before anime corn, Japan made adult-oriented animation. In 1969, 1001 Nights, which wasn't pornographic but had strong adult themes, came out in theaters, and shortly after, an explicit erotic anime was released the same year, decades before digital animation. Part 3. Birth of commercial hentai. By the early 1980s, home video changed everything. Suddenly, adult content could bypass TV restrictions and go straight to consumers. 1984. Lolita anime. Widely considered the first commercial hentai, OVA explored erotic storytelling with themes like BDSM, Yuri, and lolicon. Not polite, but it proved the market existed. Cream Lemon. Released shortly after Lolita anime, this series became the most influential early adult anime series. Episodes mixed fantasy, sci-fi, and drama with explicit content, showing that hentai could have stories beyond shock value. It set the standard for the OVA format in adult animation, showing that this wasn't just underground content, it was a marketable, profitable genre. Industry impact. Studios realized adults would pay for anime content if it had the right combination of story, visuals, and eroticism. A lot of talent got their start in hentai before moving into mainstream anime production. Part 4. The global expansion and the digital shift, 1990s to 2010s. The 80s proved it was profitable, but the 90s made it global. 1. The Western hentai label. Mention that while Japan used terms like ero manga or 18+ anime, Western fans in the 90s popularized the word hentai as a catch-all term. This is when the genre stopped being a Japanese secret and became a global phenomenon. 2. The Legend of Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Overfiend. You can't talk about the 90s without this. Released in the late 80s/early 90s, it combined extreme horror with eroticism. It shocked Western audiences and became the face of the genre for a decade, influencing how the world viewed adult anime. 3. The move to digital, early 2000s. Visual evolution. Explain the shift from hand-drawn cells to digital coloring. This made the art look cleaner, more glowing, and allowed for the high saturation styles we see in modern anime. The internet factor. Discuss the rise of Flash animation and early sites that allowed indie creators, doujin artists, to distribute their own work without a major studio. 4. The codification of tropes. This is where you explain that tropes like tsundere, ahegao, and the beginnings of the ugly bastard meta began to be standardized. They weren't just random occurrences anymore. They became specific subgenres that studios used to target different audiences. Part 5. The 2000s to now. The era of the niche. By the 2000s, the industry underwent its final major transformation. It stopped trying to be mainstream and started perfecting the art of the niche. With the shift to full digital production, the visual fidelity reached a breaking point. Studios like Pink Pineapple and Bunny Walker set a new standard. Cinematic lighting, high frame rate animation, but the real change wasn't just in how it looked, it was in who the stories were for. The 2000s saw the mainstreamification of tropes that were once considered extreme. This is the era where the ugly bastard meta, isekai crossovers, and hyper-specific vanilla tags became the primary drivers of production.
Studios began following the data, animating what was trending on doujin sites and viral memes. Today, in 2026, we have come full circle. What started as a hand-drawn ink on 8th century scrolls has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar digital landscape. It's accessible, it's high definition, and it's more diverse than ever before. The timeline is complete, from the dreams of fisherman's wife to the hyper-niche world of today. The boundary between the forbidden and the mainstream has never been thinner. The art has changed, the technology has evolved, but the human fascination with the forbidden that stayed exactly the same for over 1200 years. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video soon.